Hello and welcome to Dalesford Abbey. I'm Father John Joseph Novielli, and this is Father Andrew Ciferni, and we welcome you to our church, Our Lady of the Assumption. Our church is 55 years old and built during the time of Vatican II. So we're blessed that over the years, actually 55 years, tens of thousands of people have come to the Abbey Church and join with the Norbertine community in praise of God as we pray together. Churches in the Norbertine tradition for 900 years have been the heart and center of our life. It is here that we pray every day. It is here that we take our vows, here where we're ordained, here where we're buried.
One of the ways that you would know that is that our Abbey is a church. Now, for example, if you know the worship place of Jesuits or Franciscans or Dominicans, if that space is not a parish, it is a chapel. And cathedral church or chapel is not about size, it's about its standing in the public for the church. So a church is a place, a public space of worship where anyone may come and pray with the resident community. A chapel does not necessarily work that way. It is a more private space, even though a lot may use it. So the fact that our places of worship are churches gives an idea that the Norbertines are committed to public prayer with the people.
And for 55 years, we have literally tens of thousands of people who have come here for spiritual renewal, for praise of God, to be part of our spirituality programs, and they have been enriched. We were on the cutting edge of liturgical reform during Vatican II, and Father Andrew was very instrumental in leading us in that renewal.
The event that we are going to speak, Father John Joseph is going to speak about a little more, has to do with renewal, not only of liturgy, but of the entire church. Obviously, if the liturgy is not renewed, it's very hard for the community to be renewed. But this goes back all the way to the spring of 1120, when our founder, St. Norbert, was just beginning to think of gathering his hundreds of disciples. And he went with the Bishop of Laon, Bartholomew was his name, and every day they were going out looking for a place to begin. And the place that they found eventually was really isolated, as it still is today, in a place called Prémontré. And there Norbert found a chapel of St. Vincent that was in ruins. So that space had to be, in many ways, rebuilt. 100 years later, we have a much more famous incident of St. Francis, who is listening and watching the famous crucifix of San Damiano, and he hears Christ on the cross speaking to him and saying, "Repair my church." He thought, of course, of fixing that chapel of San Damiano, but the Lord's vision of church was much, much bigger. And we work within that, working from, as all Christ's ministers, for the unity and reconciliation of all in the church. But we bring that back to this church of Our Lady of the Assumption of Dalesford Abbey, because it's in this place that we find the energy to do what God calls us to do.
And that theme, Repair Our Church, is the theme that we adopted for our 900 years of existence, to repair the Church of Our Lady of the Assumption. Over the years, as you know from your own houses, you have to keep up maintenance. And we have done that to greater and lesser extent as our finances were provided to us. But now we have to do some major repairs. So the first would be our roof. It's a lead copper roof. And we had 2 evaluations 15 years ago, and they both concurred that we need a new roof. And a new roof today would cost at least $1 million. So that's the first need. The second need is our HVAC has to be renewed. That's the blowers of the church for the heating and air conditioning. And the third would be the lighting over the altar. Many of them are burnt out, and we have to provide new LEDs. So we have a campaign that's going on for $1.2 million, and we're very happy to report that we're at least 3/4 to our goal. Our friends and benefactors have been very, very generous, so we come to you asking to prayerfully consider a pledge for 3 years to help to repair our church. It will be a way of recommitting ourselves to the service of God and to serving you, His people. At the end of this video, there will be an attachment where you could sign up online and according to your means, make a pledge for 3 years and be able to assist us. If I could be of further assistance to you, you could always contact my office, and the extension is 1270. It's 610-647-2530.
If I could make another suggestion, we could have our church in perfect material condition, but if prayer doesn't continue here, then this kind of campaign is useless. So we want to invite you, whenever it is possible, for you to come and pray with us, either during the weekday or Saturday, but especially on Sunday, so that you support us and we work with you to reconcile the church by both providing for the place to do that, by actually doing what the space is for, to pray, to worship God, and to build up one people of praise. Thank you.
And we thank you for all your support over the years and want you to know that you're daily remembered in our prayers and masses here in the Abbey Church. May God bless you.